They say one mistake can change your life forever. Mine happened when I spilled Chateau Margaux on the most dangerous man in New York. I'm Ella Chen, and 3 months ago, I was serving champagne at the Venetian Gallery's underground auction. The kind where million-dollar paintings trade hands between people who don't ask questions. My father's gambling debts had swallowed our family bookstore whole, and I needed every dollar from this catering gig. Then I backed into him. The wine glass flew from my tray, drenching his Tom Ford tuxedo in $5,000 Bordeaux. Time stopped. The entire room went silent. I looked up into eyes so dark they seemed to swallow light. Dante Moretti. Even I knew that name. The Mafia King. The Devil of Manhattan. The man whose enemies disappeared into the East River. I'm so sorry, My voice died as his hand caught my wrist. Clumsy little bird, he murmured. His Italian accent wrapping around each word like silk over steel. Do you know who I am? Everyone was staring. My supervisor looked ready to faint. Yes, I whispered. His thumb traced my racing pulse. Good. Then you know I don't forgive easily. He released me and I thought that was the end. I rushed to the kitchen, hyperventilating, while my coworker Jenny grabbed my shoulders. Oh my God, Ella, you're so dead. But an hour later, as I stumbled to the subway, a black Mercedes pulled up. The window lowered, revealing Dante's sharp jawline and that predatory smile. Get in. I'd rather not. That wasn't a request. He opened the door himself, and something in his expression told me running would be worse. I slid inside, my heart hammering. The car smelled like expensive leather and danger. He handed me a black business card. No name, just a phone number embossed in gold. Your debt intrigues me, he said softly. When you're desperate enough, call that number. I'll make you an offer. What kind of offer? His smile widened, showing perfect white teeth. The kind desperate girls can't refuse. The car stopped at my subway station. As I stepped out, trembling, he called after me. Don't make me wait too long, Ella. I'm not a patient man. How did he know my name? I never told him. I looked down at the card burning in my palm, and somehow I knew this wasn't over. It was just beginning. 2 weeks later, I stood outside the bookstore that had been in my family for 3 generations, watching the loan sharks nail a foreclosure notice to the door. 30 days, Miss Chen, the lawyer said coldly. Then it's ours. I sat on the curb and cried. My mother's medical bills, my father's debts, now this. I had nothing left, except one black card. That night, I drank half a bottle of cheap wine and dialed the number. It rang once. I was beginning to think you'd forgotten me. Dante's voice poured through the speaker like dark honey. What's your offer? My voice shook. Direct. I like that. I heard ice clinking in a glass. One night with me, Ella. In exchange, your debts, all of them disappear. The bookstore, your mother's hospital bills, everything. Clean slate. My stomach dropped. You want me to. I want you in my bed until sunrise. What happens there is between us. No promises, no commitments. Just one night, and you walk away free. I should have hung up. Should have found another way. Where? I whispered. The Plaza. Penthouse suite. Tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Bring nothing but yourself. He hung up before I could change my mind. The next evening, I stood outside the most expensive hotel in Manhattan, wearing my only decent dress. A man in a black suit appeared beside me. Miss Chen. This way. The penthouse was obscene. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the glittering city, marble floors, a piano I could never afford to breathe near. And Dante, standing by the window in a white shirt, sleeves rolled up, watching me like a wolf watches a lamb. You came, he said. You paid off the bookstore this morning. Before I even arrived. His eyes gleamed. Insurance. So you wouldn't run. I keep my word. We'll see. He crossed to me and suddenly I couldn't breathe. His fingers traced my jaw. I have rules, little bird. You say stop, we stop. You wanna leave, you leave. But if you stay, you're mine until dawn. Completely. I nodded, not trusting my voice. What happened that night? I expected cold transaction. Instead I found fire. Dante touched me like I was priceless art. He whispered in Italian, words I didn't understand but felt in my bones. Between the silk sheets, he showed me glimpses of the man beneath the monster. The scars, the loneliness, the hunger for something real. At 5 a.m. he fell asleep, his arm around me. I should have stayed. Should have asked questions. Instead, I slipped away like a thief, thinking I'd never see him again. I was so wrong. I woke to my phone exploding with calls. My neighbor. Ella, what's happening? There are men with guns outside. My mother. Are you in trouble? The news says there's some kind of standoff on your street. I stumbled to my window and froze. My entire block was shut down. Black SUVs lined both sides of the street. Men in expensive suits and tactical gear surrounded my building. Dozens of them, maybe more, all watching my apartment. My door suddenly shook with heavy pounding. Ella Chin. Open up. Don't make this harder. I threw on clothes and opened the door to find two massive security guards. Behind them, a woman in a designer suit smiled coldly. Miss Chen, please come with us. Who are you? What's happening? Mr. Moretti requests your presence. Now. My blood turned to ice. I don't understand. We had a deal. The deal changed. She stepped aside, revealing the hallway packed with armed men. You can walk or they'll carry you. Your choice. 15 minutes later, I was in a private helicopter, flying over Manhattan. The woman finally spoke. When were you going to tell him? Tell him what? She handed me a folder. Inside was a medical report. My medical report from a clinic I'd never visited. Patient Ella Chen. Status. Pregnant. 6 weeks. The world tilted. That's impossible. We used. Nothing's foolproof, sweetheart. She smiled without warmth. Congratulations. You're carrying the Mafia King's heir. And in our world, that makes you either the most protected woman alive, or the most endangered. The helicopter landed on a rooftop. Waiting at the edge, backlit by the morning sun, stood Dante. But this wasn't the man who'd whispered sweet things in Italian. This was the monster everyone feared. Hello, little bird, he said coldly. We have so much to discuss. Starting with why you thought you could run from me carrying my child. And ending with the fact that your father stole from my family, and you're going to help me get it back. My knees buckled. My father. What are you? Welcome to your new life, Ella. Those 200 men downstairs. They're not leaving. And neither are you. Dante's estate wasn't a home. It was a fortress. He led me through marble halls lined with security cameras, past guards at every corner, into a study that smelled like old leather and expensive whiskey. He poured himself a drink, didn't offer me one. Sit. I stayed standing. You can't keep me here. Can't I? He pulled up security footage on his computer. My apartment, my mother's nursing home, the bookstore. All surrounded. 200 men, Ella. All loyal to me. All making sure nothing happens to you. Or anyone you love. This is insane. I didn't know I was pregnant. I believe you. He circled me like a predator. The pregnancy is unexpected. But not why you're here. He threw down a file. Inside were photos of my father with Dante's family. Documents, receipts. 5 years ago, your father worked restoration for my family's private collection. He was trusted, skilled. Then he stole something priceless and disappeared. 6 months later he was dead. Convenient car accident. But he never sold what he took, which means he hid it. My father wasn't a thief. Your father was a gambling addict who owed money to some very bad people. Dante's voice went soft, deadly. He stole the Moretti diamond, a 200-carat blood diamond worth $30 million. But more importantly, it's symbolic. Losing it makes me look weak. And in my world, weakness is death. I couldn't breathe. I don't have it. I don't know anything about. But you will. He grabbed my chin, forcing me to meet his eyes. You'll go through everything he left you. Every book in that precious store, every note, every memory. Because that diamond is somewhere, and you're going to find it. And if I don't. His thumb brushed my lips, almost tender. Then our child grows up without a mother. Decisions, Ella. A knock interrupted us. A beautiful woman burst in. Sharp features, designer clothes, Dante's eyes. Is it true? You actually got some random girl pregnant. She looked me up and down. Brother, your taste has dropped. Valentina, meet Ella. Ella, my delightful sister. Valentina's expression shifted from disgust to something like pity. Does she know about Sophia? The room temperature dropped. Dante's jaw clenched. Get out. She deserves to know what happens to women you protect. Out. Valentina left, but whispered as she passed. Ask him about the last woman who carried his child. Ask him where she is now. When we were alone, I forced the words out. Who's Sophia? Dante turned to the window. His shoulders rigid. Someone I failed to protect. Someone who died because I wasn't ruthless enough. He looked back at me, and I saw something terrible in his eyes. I won't make that mistake twice. You and that baby survive no matter what I have to do. Even if you hate me for it. Before I could respond, alarms blared through the estate. Dante's phone lit up. His face went white. They're here. The Volkovs found you faster than I expected. He grabbed my arm. Move. Now. Who are the Volkovs? The people who killed Sophia. And they're coming for you. The panic room was luxury prison. Reinforced steel disguised as a sitting room, with velvet couches and a minibar. Through security monitors, I watched Dante's men clash with intruders at the gates. Gunfire crackled. I counted at least 20 attackers before Valentina burst in, locking the door behind her. Lovely first day, isn't it? She poured herself vodka. Welcome to the family. Why are people trying to kill me? I don't even have this diamond. It's not just about the diamond anymore, sweetheart. She gestured at my stomach. That baby makes you a Moretti. In our world, that's a target on your back from every rival family. The Volkovs especially. They've hated us for generations. The gunfire stopped. The monitors showed Dante walking through bodies. His white shirt splattered red, talking on his phone like he was discussing dinner plans. Valentina saw my expression. First time seeing him work. You get used to it. Or you don't, and you break like Sophia. Tell me about her. She studied me, then sighed. Sophia was his fiancée. Sweet, gentle, totally wrong for this life. She got pregnant 5 years ago. Dante was thrilled, planning to go legitimate for her. Then the Volkovs kidnapped her. Sent Dante pieces of her jewelry every day for a week. When he finally found her, Valentina's voice cracked. She'd lost the baby. Lost her mind. She threw herself off his balcony while he slept. My hands went to my stomach. Why are you telling me this? Because if you're going to survive, you need to understand. My brother doesn't love, he possesses. He doesn't protect, he owns. He'll burn this entire city down to keep you and that baby safe, but it'll cost you everything you are. So decide now. Can you live in a cage, even a golden one? The door opened. Dante stood there, covered in blood that wasn't his, eyes blazing. We're moving. They know this location. Moving where? I demanded. Somewhere they'll never find you. 12 hours later, I woke in a different estate. This one on a private island, accessible only by helicopter. My room was an entire wing. Bedroom, bathroom, sitting area, all decorated like a 5-star hotel. Beautiful. Isolated. Prison. Days blurred together. Dante visited every evening, always bringing something. Books, food, trying to make conversation. Gave him nothing. Until the nightmares started. 1 week in, I woke screaming from dreams of my father's accident. Dante was there instantly, holding me, whispering Italian words that soothed despite myself. Why do you care? I sobbed into his chest. You barely know me. I know enough. His hand rested on my stomach. I know you're brave, stubborn, too smart for your own good. I know you don't break easily. Everyone breaks eventually. Not you. He tilted my chin up. You want to hate me. See it. But you can't because you're starting to understand. I'm the only thing standing between you and a bullet. He was right and I hated that. My father wasn't a thief, I whispered. Then help me prove it. Find the diamond, find the truth. He handed me boxes. My father's journals, recovered from the bookstore. Open the first one. My father's familiar handwriting. If you're reading this, Ella, I'm already dead. And I'm so sorry for what I'm about to make you do. I looked up at Dante, heart pounding. What did your father do? I don't know. But I'm about to find out. The journals revealed everything. My father hadn't stolen a diamond. He'd stolen evidence. The Moretti diamond was code for documents proving a corrupt senator had partnered with the Volkov family to run weapons through the city. My father discovered it while cataloging Dante's archives, copied everything and hid it. He was protecting you, I told Dante. He knew if the Volkovs found out he'd seen this, they'd kill him. So he made everyone think he stole treasure instead. Dante stared at the journal, jaw tight. Where's the evidence now? Somewhere in the bookstore. He wrote about the book she'll never sell. I think I know which one. Then we go get it. Tonight. The plan was simple. Quick helicopter trip, grab the book, return to the island. Dante assigned 20 guards. What could go wrong? Everything. We landed on the bookstore roof at midnight. Inside, I went straight to the rare book section, finding my father's prized first edition of The Count of Monte Cristo. My mother's favorite, the one he'd made me promise never to sell. Opened it. Hidden inside the hollowed pages, a USB drive. Got it, I whispered. That's when the lights went out. Gunfire erupted. Dante shoved me behind a bookshelf as his men returned fire. Through the chaos I saw them, men in Volkov colors flooding in. Ella! Run! Dante roared. I ran for the back exit but someone grabbed me from behind. A cloth covered my mouth. Chemical smell and the world went dark. I woke in a warehouse tied to a chair. A man in an expensive suit smiled at me. Victor Volkov. Hello, Miss Chen. You've caused quite a commotion. Where's Dante? Alive. Now. We sent him a video of you. He's probably tearing the city apart looking. Victor pulled out a knife, tracing it along my jaw. Here's what happens next. You tell us where the evidence is. We let you and your baby live. Simple. And if I don't? He pressed the knife until I felt blood. Then we find out if the Mafia King loves you enough to trade his empire for your life. Hours passed. They didn't torture me, just made me watch the clock, knowing Dante was going insane. Then boom. The warehouse wall exploded inward. Through the smoke, Dante emerged like an avenging angel, gun in each hand, 50 men behind him. What I witnessed next was beautiful and terrifying. Dante moved through the Volkovs like death itself, every shot precise, every movement calculated. He wasn't angry. He was beyond anger, into something cold and absolute. Victor tried to use me as a shield. Dante shot him through the shoulder, catching me before I fell. Close your eyes, little bird, he whispered. I didn't. I watched him put a bullet in Victor's head, execution style. He carried me out of that warehouse covered in blood. His men clearing a path through bodies. In the helicopter, he held me so tight I couldn't breathe. If they'd hurt you, his voice broke. They didn't. I'm okay. He pulled back, cupping my face, and I saw tears in his eyes. Actual tears. I thought I'd lost you. Like Sophia. I thought. I'm not Sophia. I'm not fragile. I grabbed his blood-stained hands. But I need to know. Do you actually care about me? Or just the baby? His answer was a kiss that tasted like violence and desperation and something terrifyingly real. When he pulled back, his forehead rested against mine. "You're in my blood now, Ella. I don't know when it happened, but you are. And that terrifies me more than any bullet." For the first time I believed him. Then his phone rang. His second-in-command, Marco. "Boss, we have a problem. The USB drive Ella found. Someone already copied it. And they sent it to the FBI." Dante's expression went cold. "Who?" "That's the problem. It came from inside your own security network. We had a traitor." Back on the island, Dante's inner circle gathered. 5 men who'd been with him for over a decade. One of them was a traitor. Marco, his second. Cool, efficient, loyal since childhood. Luca, head of security. Former military tactical genius. Antonio, financial advisor. Turned Dante's family business legitimate. Giovanni, weapons expert. Hot-tempered but devoted. Paolo, information broker. Knew everyone's secrets. "The USB was copied from our secure server," Dante said coldly. "Only 6 people have that access. Me, Valentina, and you 5. He pulled out a gun. "So who wants to confess before I start shooting?" Silence. I studied each face. Marco looked angry. Luca stoic. Antonio nervous, but he was always nervous. Giovanni kept cracking his knuckles. Paolo wouldn't meet anyone's eyes. "Maybe it wasn't one of them," I said quietly. "What if someone hacked the system remotely?" Luca shook his head. "Impossible. Our encryption can be broken given enough time." I turned to Dante. "Let me see the server logs." For 3 hours I combed through data, using tricks my father taught me about patterns and anomalies. Finally I found it. Here. Someone accessed the server from inside the estate, but they were using Paolo's credentials. At a time when Paolo was in Sicily, I saw the travel records. Everyone turned to Paolo. He bolted. He made it to the door before Dante shot him in the leg. Paolo collapsed, screaming. "Why?" Dante roared. "They have my daughter." Paolo sobbed. "The Volkovs kidnapped her 6 months ago. They said they'd kill her if I didn't help them." The room went silent. Dante lowered his gun slowly. "Why didn't you come to me?" "Because they said if I told you she'd die. They knew you'd go to war, and in the chaos they'd kill her." Paolo looked up with desperate eyes. "I have the evidence back. The FBI thing was a bluff to flush out the mole me. Please, Dante. Help me get my daughter back." Dante's jaw clenched. I saw the war in his eyes. Fury versus compassion. "Where is she?" Dante finally asked. "Manhattan. Volkov's safe house on 47th Street. Dante looked at Marco. "Assemble everyone. We're going to war." That night, I watched from the surveillance room as Dante led 100 men into Manhattan. The operation was surgical. They hit the safe house so fast the Volkovs barely got shots off. Dante emerged carrying a teenage girl who cried into his shoulder. Paolo, watching from his medical bed, wept. When Dante returned, he came straight to me, still in tactical gear. "You saved her," I said. "I couldn't let history repeat." He sat heavily beside me. 5 years ago, Sophia was taken because I missed the signs. Because I was too arrogant to think anyone would dare touch what was mine. I lost her and our baby because I failed to see the traitor in my ranks. My own uncle, working with the Volkovs for money. "Marco told me," I admitted. "He also told me you personally killed your uncle." Slowly. "I did." No shame in his voice. "And I'd do it again. But afterwards I swore. Never again. No more blind spots, no more trust. Just control." He took my hand. "Until you make me want to trust again. And that's dangerous. Maybe dangerous is good sometimes." He kissed my knuckles. "The USB drive, the evidence your father stole. It's enough to bring down Senator Morrison and cripple the Volkovs. If we release it. If we release it, we make powerful enemies. The FBI will investigate us too. Our legitimate businesses might be seized. We could lose everything. He met my eyes. But we'd be doing the right thing. Your father died protecting that information. He believed it mattered. What do you want to do? I want to ask what you think. Because this affects you and our child too. It was the first time he'd asked my opinion on anything. Release it, I said. My father didn't die so we could use his sacrifice as leverage. He died for the truth. Dante smiled, genuine, warm. You're going to make a terrifying queen, little bird. The next morning, every news outlet received the files. By noon, Senator Morrison was arrested. By evening, the Volkov family's assets were frozen. We'd won. But that night, Marco came to Dante's office where we were celebrating. His face was ashen. Boss, we have a problem. The Volkovs. They've activated their sleeper agent. Someone we never suspected. Who? Marco's gun came up, pointing at Dante. Me. I'm so sorry, brother. Time froze. Dante stared at the gun, then at Marco's face. Lower the weapon. Now. I can't. Marco's hand shook. They have evidence that I killed Sophia. Video footage, DNA, everything. If I don't kill you tonight, tomorrow the world sees that I murdered your fiancée. The room spun. You. Dante's voice was barely human. You killed her. It was an accident. Tears streamed down Marco's face. She called me that night, hysterical, saying she couldn't do this life anymore. I went to calm her down, but she was on the balcony and we argued and she slipped and I tried to grab her but... His voice broke. It was an accident, but you'd never believe that. So I stayed quiet, let you think it was suicide. 5 years. Dante's words dripped venom. 5 years you stood beside me. Comforted me. Let me blame myself. Because I loved you like a brother. Because telling you would have destroyed you. And this won't. Dante stepped forward. You think killing me saves anything? The Volkovs gave me a choice. Kill you, or they release the footage and you spend the rest of your life knowing your best friend murdered the woman you loved. At least this way you die not knowing. You die still trusting me. I'd been frozen in shock, but I saw it. Marco's finger tightening on the trigger, the resignation in his eyes. I launched myself between them. Ella, no. Dante's scream. The gun went off. Pain exploded in my shoulder as I hit the ground. Through blurring vision, I saw Dante catch me with one hand while drawing his own gun with the other. You shot her, Dante whispered, his voice arctic. You shot my pregnant wife. I'm sorry, Dante fired. 3 shots, center mass. Marco collapsed. Medic! Dante roared, pressing his hands to my bleeding shoulder. Don't you dare die on me, little bird. Don't you dare. The baby. We'll be fine. You'll both be fine. I won't lose you. I can't lose you. The medical team arrived in seconds. Through the chaos I heard Dante on the phone. Prepare the jet. We're going to New York Presbyterian. I don't care if you have to shut down the entire hospital. She gets the best. As they loaded me onto a stretcher, I grabbed Dante's hand. Marco, is he dead? No emotion. Just fact. As he deserved. He was your brother. He betrayed me. Betrayed Sophia. Shot the mother of my child. Dante's eyes were dead. There's no forgiveness for that. Not in my world. The surgery took 6 hours. When I woke, Dante sat beside my bed, holding our baby's first ultrasound photo. His eyes were red. Healthy, he said quietly. Both of you. The doctor says you'll make a full recovery. I'm sorry about Marco. Don't. His voice hardened. Don't humanize him. He made his choice. Did he though? The Volkovs blackmailed him. We all have choices, Ella. He chose wrong. Chose to kill Sophia, chose to hide it, chose to point a gun at me. Each decision led to his death. Dante set down the ultrasound, his hands shaking. But you chose to step in front of a bullet for me. Why? Because despite everything I stopped unsure. Say it. I care about you. More than I should. More than makes sense. He kissed me then, soft and desperate. I love you. God help me, I love you. I didn't want to, tried not to, but you. He pressed his forehead to mine. You're everything Sophia wasn't. Strong where she was fragile. Brave where she was timid. You don't need me to survive, but you choose me anyway. How could I not love you? You love me, but you'll still cage me. Yes. Brutal honesty. Because love in my world means possession. Means doing whatever it takes to keep you safe, even if you hate me for it. Then teach me, I whispered. Teach me to survive your world. Not as a prisoner, but as your equal. His eyes widened. You want to stay. I want to choose. You gave me that once before. I'm choosing now. I took his hand, placed it on my stomach. I choose us. All of us. But I won't be locked in towers, Dante. If I'm going to be yours, you're going to be mine too. Equal partners. Or nothing. For a long moment he just stared. Then slowly he smiled. A mafia queen. My father would turn in his grave. Good. Maybe it's time for new rules. He kissed me again, deeper this time. Outside my hospital window, the sun was rising over Manhattan. New day. A new chapter. But first we had one final enemy to destroy. The Volkovs had made this personal. And they were about to learn what happened when you threatened a Moretti's family. Recovery took 2 weeks. In that time the Volkovs stayed quiet, too quiet. Then the letter arrived. Dante read it, his face turning to stone. He handed it to me. Dear Miss Chen, by now you know everything. How your father stole our secrets. How you've destroyed our American operations. How you've taken our enemy's side. We're prepared to end this war. Simply testify that Dante Moretti personally murdered Senator Morrison. We'll provide all necessary evidence. Return the remaining files, and you'll receive new identities for yourself and your child. A fresh start, far from this violence. You have 48 hours to decide. Choose freedom or choose the monster. The choice is yours. V. Volkov. I set down the letter. They want me to frame you for murder. They want to eliminate me without firing a shot. I go to prison for life. They get their revenge, and you. He wouldn't look at me. You go free. You and our daughter. Daughter. A ghost of a smile. The ultrasound confirmed it yesterday. I was waiting for you to be stronger before I told you. Daughter. With Dante's dark eyes and my stubbornness, probably. They're offering me everything I thought I wanted, I said slowly. Before I met you. Safety. Is. A normal life. Yes. You could stop me. No. He finally met my eyes. I couldn't live with myself if I did. I've caged you, claimed you, nearly gotten you killed. If you want out, I won't stop you. For the first time in my life, I'm giving someone a real choice. Why? Because that's what love is. Letting go when you should hold on. Trusting when every instinct says don't. His hand covered mine. I love you enough to lose you, Ella. If that's what you need. My mind spun. 2 paths. Escape with my daughter, raise her in peace, never look over my shoulder again. Or stay with Dante, become part of his violent world, live forever as a target. Can I ask you something? Said. Anything. If I stay, will you ever go legitimate? Truly legitimate. He paused. I've been transitioning for years. Our legitimate holdings outweigh our illegal operations now. But completely clean. That would take time, sacrifice, and I'd make enemies of people who currently stay neutral. But could you? For you and our daughter. I'd walk away from everything. You'd hate it. Probably. He smiled sadly. But I'd hate losing you more. I stood walking to the window. Manhattan sprawled below, the city that had taken my father, nearly taken me, but also given me Dante. The Volkovs killed my father, I said quietly. Marco killed Sophia. Senator Morrison trafficked weapons that killed dozens. All of them connected. All of them protected by money and power. I turned to him. If I run, they win. They get to keep operating, keep hurting people because I was too scared to fight. You're not a fighter, Ella. I'm my father's daughter. He died protecting evidence he could have sold for millions. He chose principle over safety. I crossed to Dante, taking his hands. I choose the same. Choose to fight. I choose you. Even knowing what it means. Especially knowing what it means. I pulled him down for a kiss. But we do this my way. No more secrets, no more treating me like I'm fragile. I'm in this all the way as your partner. Your equal. My queen. Your queen. Smiled. Now, how do we destroy the Volkovs permanently? Dante's answering smile was pure predator. I thought you'd never ask. We spent 36 hours planning. Not a military strike, something smarter. I'd built an entire career on authentication and documentation. I knew how to verify sources, cross-reference evidence, build unshakable cases. The Volkovs had sent us their playbook when they tried to blackmail Marco. They'd shown us their methods. Fabricated evidence, corrupted officials, hidden accounts. So I found it all. Every shell company, every bribed judge, every piece of fabricated evidence they'd ever created. I tracked their money through 12 countries, connected them to 17 unsolved murders, and documented everything. Then I called a press conference. The Volkovs sent men to stop me. Dante's 200 guards stopped them. Standing in front of 50 cameras, wearing a Chanel suit Valentina lent me, I told the truth. All of it. How my father had stolen evidence to protect the innocent. How the Volkovs had killed him and tried to frame Dante. How Senator Morrison had facilitated weapons trafficking. How everything was connected. And I provided proof. Irrefutable, documented, devastating proof. I'm Ella Chen, I finished. And I'm done being afraid. Within 24 hours, the Volkov family was dismantled. Assets seized, members arrested, their empire collapsed. But they sent one final message. A car bomb meant for Dante's vehicle. I was driving it instead, heading to a doctor's appointment. I saw the device just in time, threw the car in reverse, and the explosion threw me 20 feet. When I woke in the hospital, again, Dante was there, his eyes haunted. I'm okay, I whispered. You almost died. Again. Because of me. Because of them. Because evil exists. I grabbed his hand. But I'm still here. We're still here. He pressed his lips to my forehead. No more. I'm walking away. From all of it. We'll disappear, start over, somewhere safe. No. Ella. We don't run. We build something better. We take your empire and make it untouchable. Completely legitimate, completely clean. We use your power for good. We make my father's sacrifice mean something. That could take years. Then we have years. I pulled him down beside me. Together. He held me like I was the only solid thing in his world. Together, he finally whispered. My fierce little bird. My queen. My everything. Outside, the city kept spinning. Inside, we'd finally found our answer. Not freedom from the chaos, but peace within it. Together. 6 months later, I stood in the renovated bookstore, holding our daughter Isabella against my chest. The store looked different now, still vintage, still full of my father's carefully curated collection, but with a new wing, Chen Authentication Services. My company, specializing in art and document verification. Completely legitimate. Completely mine. Dante walked in carrying coffee. Designer suit impeccable. Dangerous edge softened by the smile he saved only for us. Your 10 o'clock is here. The museum curator from the Met. Tell them I'll be right there. I kissed Isabella's head. Valentina's picking her up in 5 minutes. My sister, the world's most fashionable babysitter. He took our daughter, who immediately grabbed his tie. She's plotting something. I can tell. She's 3 months old. She's a Moretti. They plot from birth. I laughed, something I did easily now. How's the foundation board meeting? Tedious, but effective. He'd established the Moretti Foundation 6 months ago, turning his family's wealth toward youth programs, addiction recovery, and violence prevention. The man who'd once ruled through fear now ruled through philanthropy. We've approved funding for 12 new community centers. My reformed mobster kissed him. Who knew you'd be so good at charity work? I'm good at everything. He grinned. But especially at loving you. The door chimed. Valentina entered with her girlfriend, a lawyer who'd helped us navigate Dante's transition to legitimacy. Incoming baby. Valentina took Isabella expertly. Say goodbye to boring work, Principessa. Auntie Val is taking you shopping. She's 3 months old. Never too early to develop taste. Valentina swept out, Isabella cooing happily. My 10 o'clock arrived. A prestigious museum needed authentication on a recently acquired Rembrandt. I spent 2 hours examining it, losing myself in the work I loved. This was my life now. Not perfect, not always safe, but mine. Dante had kept his promise. He'd systematically dismantled his illegal operations, turned over evidence on remaining criminal elements to the FBI in exchange for immunity, and redirected his empire toward legitimate business. Hotels, real estate, tech investments, philanthropic ventures. Was it easy? No. Did some of his old associates feel betrayed? Absolutely. Did we still have security, though not 200 men anymore because some enemies remained? But we were building something real, something good. That evening we had dinner at the estate, still fortress-like but now a home. Valentina, her girlfriend Luca, who'd transitioned to heading our legal security, and a few others who'd chosen to follow Dante into legitimacy. A toast, Valentina said, raising her glass. To the woman who tamed the Mafia King. I didn't tame him, I corrected. I just gave him a reason to choose differently. Dante pulled me close. You gave me everything. Daughter, purpose, a future worth having. After dinner we walked the grounds, Isabella asleep in Dante's arms. Do you miss it? I asked quietly. The power, the fear, the control? Sometimes, he admitted. Old habits. But then I look at her. He nodded to our sleeping daughter. And I remember what matters. She'll grow up knowing her father as a philanthropist, a businessman, maybe even a good man. Not a monster. You were never a monster. Just a man doing monstrous things. There's a difference. Yes, monsters can't change. Men can. I took his free hand. You changed. We changed, he corrected. You think I could have done this without you? You're the brave one, Ella. You walked into my world, looked at the darkness, and said, we can make this better. That takes more courage than anything I've ever done. We stopped at the garden overlook, the city glittering below. My father would be proud, I said softly. He died protecting truth. Now we're using that truth to build something good. The bookstore's thriving, your foundation's helping thousands, and we're happy. Deliriously. He kissed me soft and sweet. I love you, little bird. More than power, more than empires, more than anything. I love you too. My reformed king. Isabella stirred, making soft baby noises. Dante rocked her gently, and I saw the future in that moment. This dangerous man, singing Italian lullabies to our daughter, choosing love over everything he'd once been. We'd come so far from that night I spilled wine on him. From the scared girl and the ruthless king, we'd become partners. Parents. People who chose each other every day despite everything. The path hadn't been easy. We'd lost people. Been betrayed. Nearly died more than once. But standing there, watching the sunset with my family, I knew something with absolute certainty. I'd choose this life again. Choose Dante again. Choose love even when it was dangerous. Because love, real love, isn't about perfection. It's about choosing someone despite their darkness, and helping them find their light. Dante had given me protection when I needed it, freedom when I deserved it, and partnership when I demanded it. And I'd given him something he'd never expected, the courage to become better. We walked back to the house, our daughter between us, our future bright. The Mafia King and his queen. Not perfect, but ours. And that was enough. That was everything.